How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. First of all, a great big thank you to everybody who is subscribed here, that has gone to the other channel and checked out what I'm doing there. It's not just figure reviews, although currently it is just figure reviews, but it's not going to be just figure reviews. It's going to be a bunch of whatever. It's not even going to be limited to pop culture stuff. It's going to be a bunch of things. But that will be the place that I review everything that is not a DC figure on that site, and probably re-upload some of my older reviews of stuff from like 2 years ago, 3 years ago that were non-DC. If you're not subscribed, please do yourself and me and the world a favor and trickle on over there after this video and go subscribe there too if you've ever wanted to hear my opinions on anything that's not a DC action figure. Although DC is my first love, I have been known to collect other things like Ninja Turtles and Thundercats and G.I. Joes, and I collected everything as a kid. Absolutely everything. Bionic 6, Silverhawks, Thundercats, Visionaries, RoboCop figures. I had Knight Rider with Michael Knight, with David Hasselhoff. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. This one is about 3 action figures that have more images that have finally been revealed over on McFarlane Toys' official website. The Arkham Knight Batman, the Arkham Origins Deathstroke the Terminator, and also the animated cartoon Cyborg figure, which it's the one figure that I'm the least excited about, but I am definitely reviewing because I have never got more of an onslaught of the exact same style comment ever on one of my videos, and that's that more of you than I ever thought would, I never counted on this, are so excited about this Cyborg figure. You know what? I'm glad you are. I'm not that era of the animated Titans, just, it wasn't my bag, baby. But I will pick it up and review it just for you. Anywho, now let's look at the images of the figures. I'm gonna start with Batman. So, this is your first image of Batman here. Let's make the images bigger. So this Batman figure looks better than I expected it to look. And I actually expected it to look really good, considering I fully expect this to look better than the original DC Collectibles one. Yeah, I liked this one a lot. And oh look, the head appears to be in scale with the body. Just saying. Looks good though. I mean, this looks like it's actually a factory figure and not just a painted prototype by the looks of it. Apparently, if this imagery is to be believed, he's going to come with the 3 accessories, a batarang, an explosive gel gun, and I believe that other one was, I believe it shot explosive gels. No, it shot explosive charges. I'm going by memory here. I haven't played the game in a very long time. Oh, I know I'm gonna get crap in the comments. I'm really sorry. I haven't played the game in so long that I can't remember. I've warned you all. I have a brain like a sieve. Here's another view of the figure with the batarang in one hand and the explosive gel gun in the other with the figure stand. Let's get a closer up look at that body. Yeah, it seems nice. I mean, if you don't like the little balls in the ankles, it seems like they're going to be very much the same as with the previous Arkham figure, but it looks clean. The sculpt looks clean, and this is definitely an Arkham figure based on the Arkham Knight that I can get behind. Does it have torso articulation anywhere? Now that I think about it, it doesn't look like it. Here it is from the side, standing there on the base. Yeah, this looks really good. Definitely. This is an absolute must-buy for me. For me, this is a must-buy for me. I can't speak for you. You might be looking at this going, looks like garbage! But for me, this is a definite must-buy. Although, I will say, I'm not a fan of that pre-molded cape. I mean, it looks cool. It is a really interesting looking design for a pre-molded cape, but nonetheless, it's still a pre-posed, pre-molded cape. I suppose it's good as far as they go. Cloth goods cape, here we come. And here's a view of Batman from the other side. And, I mean, it looks good. I know that I ramble on a lot, but it's because I'm trying to give you a chance to actually see the entire figure rather than just flashing it in front of you. What do you think? Is this something that you'd be into buying, or are you like, yeah, now pass, I'll stick with the one that I have made from DC Collectibles? Gotta tell you though, I still am wondering about that torso articulation and if there is any to begin with. It doesn't appear that there's any. I mean, yes, there's in the waist, but is there any up top here? Could there be some underneath the chest? I don't think so. I think that it doesn't have any articulation in the torso. Not that that's going to be make or break for me, but I know that a lot of you folks out there, that is a make or break issue. If there's nothing in the torso, you're like, nah, I'm out. And next we come to a figure that I find myself just as excited for as the Batman, and that is the Arkham Origins version of Deathstroke, the Terminator, who we can see is going to look altogether badass. This figure looks really, really fantastic. If you're someone that is a big fan of putting the black wash over a figure just to fill in the nooks and crannies, this is going to be one that I feel is a perfect candidate for that. It's nice that we're getting a better look at all the battle nicks in his armor here, like right there on his gauntlet and in his torso and stuff like that. Does he have any torso articulation? I know I wondered about that with Batman. I don't see any. I don't see any torso articulation in here. Do you see any? I don't see any. Also of note, this is definitely one of the factory figures, not one of the hand-painted prototypes. You can tell because right here the paint is sloppy right here. It's also sloppy over there on the shoulder pauldron. There's just a little bit of paint that didn't fill in the cracks right there on his helmet. So this, I think what we're looking at right here is the final product, which is actually, I prefer to look at the final product than look at the prototypes because they often look way different. And if this is the final product, then the eyeball for Slade Wilson here is definitely a step up in comparison to the eyeball that we got with the first Arkham Batman figure. Those eyes were downright terrible. Here's a little lookaroo at everything you're going to get in the package with Deathstroke, the figure, a katana blade, a card, and the action figure base. Here's another similar view of the figure, only no katana and base in the image. Looks pretty nice. It seems like the ugliness of those ankle-rounded ball joints, I feel like those are going to be hidden by the armor at the front of the boot. Not saying they're going to look great from the back. We'll see that in a moment here. It does appear that he's got a gun on the side there, but if it's not appearing as one of the accessories, there's a good chance that that's just molded right into the holsters. Ooh, where have we seen that before? Multiverse Red Hood. Hey, Todd, that does not bode well. Don't put a gun in a holster that you can't take out because fans get really, really upset. Trust me, I was there on the ground floor. Even I thought it was a dumb idea. Here's a side image of Deathstroke just standing there looking all foreboding and Deathstrokey with the sword in his hand. Yeah, that looks really, really nice. I like the sculpting, I do. I love the fact that these are all sculpted on computer now, so it's so easy to come out with a good sculpt. And then it's just the magic of making plastic molds. When we take Deathstroke from behind here, we can see he's got pockets on the backs of his pants. He's got pockets on the backs of his pants. Why do I think that's strange? I guess I shouldn't. Where else is he going to put his wallet? Anyway, you got see the gun right there. I don't think it comes out. That's a bad idea. But the figure itself does look fantastic. You got the sword sheath right there, the scabbard right there on his back. It looks like it might actually come out. I'm not really sure. At this point, it may slide in and out, but don't quote me on that. Here's Mr. Slade Wilson from the other side. I do wonder also if these shoulder pauldrons are going to get in the way of the articulation. That would be a little bit of a bummer, I know, for a lot of people, because he is basically a ninja figure, so you want to get the maximum posability out of him on account of him, you know, being that kind of a character. And here's a little look-see doodle at Slade in a running pose. So I guess they're trying to illustrate what kind of a pose you can get him into. And you'll notice that the body doesn't have any kind of articulation. So I was right, no body articulation, just in the waist. And for the shoulders there, it remains to be seen. I feel like the pauldrons will go over top of some of the other bits that are stationary. I'll have to get it in hand and then really figure it out in my review. And no, I'm not going to watch someone else's because I don't watch other people's reviews on account of I don't want other people's opinions to taint mine. I actually watch other people's reviews after. But we can see the double jointed knees in action, having okay use made of them. You got the feet doing their thing. You know, it looks good. I'm excited about them, for sure. And then the final figure on this webpage that I know a lot of you are very interested in. Let's look at the Cyborg. Why is the first image they show us of his back? That's the default image. There, that's better. Let's make it bigger. Bigger! So this is what he looks like up close. Okay, for someone who didn't watch the show, and someone who's admittedly not super excited about this figure, because I didn't watch the show, and the appearance of the characters in that show was really, it just wasn't my thing. He looks good. I know a lot of people are hoping that you will get a full animated Teen Titans team. I don't think you will. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to call it now. You may, but I don't think you will. I really honestly don't think that you will. I don't think he's going to finish this team. There's more characters, and well, if this sells well, then I guess he will. Here's Vic running. Is he balanced? We don't know because he's a PNG. He's a cutout and placed on a white background. So maybe, maybe he balances like that. I like the fact that the flesh tone that they used, at least for the prototype, isn't shiny. It's matte, so it doesn't reflect the light. And it actually allows, you know, you can see the details in his face, which admittedly there aren't much on account of the fact that he's based on the animated version from that cartoon. You can see those great big balls in his ankles there. Oddly enough, I kind of feel like the ball joints in his wrists and ankles aren't that huge of a deal because he's a big bulbous animated figure. I could see why if this is your bag, baby, this would be your bag, baby, because it does look nice for what it is. Again, coming from someone who did not watch the cartoon, it is a nice looking figure. Here's another view of Cyborg. It's very similar in comparison to the previous views that we've had, but the one thing that it definitely shows is it's got the double jointed knees because you got a hinge here and you've got a hinge down there. And this is definitely this is not the factory one. This is the painted prototype because that paint in there is really sloppy. So don't expect the one that you take home to look quite like this one. This is a promo image of one of their prototypes by the look of it. Here's another side view of the figure from the other side with what I'm assuming is a sonic disruptor attached. Again, I haven't read the bio yet, but that is one of his weapons. So I'm assuming that's what it is. Also, it could be a pulse cannon as well. I'll find out when I read. Anyhow, the figure from the side shows, again, those articulation points. Yeah, I mean, I keep coming back to it. It looks nice for what it is. Here we catch Cyborg from behind, and we see again, we've got the... Oh yeah, that is definitely the paint master. That's definitely the hand-painted prototype, because that's the thing. The paint cracks off on that. It flakes off. It's not meant to be played with. It's meant to stand there and be an example of the potential of said figure. Wow, whoever turned this into a PNG did not do a good job. There's a piece missing. And one more shot down the other side for good measure. So you can get another look. You can see how it attaches right to his wrist there. So those are neat. I'll definitely be picking those up, absolutely for sure. But there is one other thing that entered my news feed that I thought was of peculiar interest. Todd McFarlane and I have fused into one. Look at that. His arm and my body together opening up this Batman figure. That's funny. He looks like he has the Batman figure inside of his lunch kit. Anywho, let's play the video.
Hey everybody, this is Todd McFarlane. I'm going to talk to you about our new Batman design for a toy. Look at it. About the beginning of this year, McFarlane Toys took over one of the contracts to make the DC Multiverse figures. And as part of that, we've now gotten them to allow me to come up with my own designs on a few of the characters and basically do my little sort of Todd version of it. So, didn't want to get too crazy.
My little Todd version
one is Todd Batman. This is our #2 version painted of it. There's going to be 2 paint jobs. There's going to be one with a black cape and there's going to be one with a dark navy cape. Let me just show you what he looks like and some of the reasoning for the design of him. So if we come in here close, I want to look at Batman. To me has always been super cool because he doesn't have any superpowers, so he's got to basically be ready to go to war.
He looks like a pirate.
He's got all of his packs on him. He's got his leg pack. He's got his pistol back in here. Obviously, he's got his batarang. And then we're going to have him have his symbol up in here. One of the things that I designed normally has his symbol up here. I don't really consider this bat symbol to be his actual symbol. I moved it down to his belt. So there's the one that you normally see on his chest. I just put it down there, and this to me is just an extension of his cape. His cape is going to come in here and fold up, do this cool thing. It's going to be made out of a bit of a soft rubber, so you can be able to bend it and move it around. But it's a nice sleek design, I think, from the back. If you look at here, his glove, traditionally he has sort of the shark fins. He only has 3 of them. But if you see as I turn it, I've given him sort of 3 rows of sort of dangerous materials.
That's interesting.
And then he's got the 2 spikes on his glove. So again, given that he's going to be going against people who have way more power than him, I want to make sure that he's battle ready. The other thing, too,
a much more bloody Batman.
We're going to have these 2 holders on the back. And if you insert, he's going to get 2 knives, blades in there. Why? He's got to be ready at all times. And besides, it looks cool there. When you turn him around, he's going to have it here so that he looks like he's even more ready. Depending which figure you get, is going to come with different accessories. We have the batarang that on some level, if you want, you can glue it right here on his...
Depending on which figure you get, okay, for the accessories thing, I do want to mention The whole thing of having the same Spawn figure released 3 times, and you get a sword with one, you get a battle axe with another, you get, I think, a mace with another, but it's the same figure. Back in my day, you just put all those accessories in one package. I don't know. Anyway.
Chest looks super cool. Dun, 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 dun. But you put it in his hand, it looks good.
Did he say you can glue it there?
Grappling gun.
Did he say you can glue it there?
That basically
hold on.
You put it in. You can glue it right here on his chest. Looks super cool.
He did. He said you can glue it right there on his chest. Looks super cool. How would I ever glue a Batarang to Batman's chest? Moving on.
Dun, 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 dun. But you put it in his hand. It looks good. He's got a grappling gun that basically you shoot the Batarang.
That looks cool.
Hold.
That looks very cool.
And he has, if you get one of the versions, whether it's, I don't know if it's coming with the black or the blue, but he also has a couple pair of knives that will go into his hands.
Okay, so basically, they're both going to come with something that goes in the back. So it looks like one will have the gold fighting knives and one will have the other ones. The one's going to have, I'm betting that is the Batman we're looking at that will come with the gold Batarang to match the gold swords in his back. That'd be my guess. So I get it. If the figure is different and the accessories are different, I'm cool with that. I just don't like it when it's the same figure with different accessories. I feel like that's kind of cheap.
If we look at it here, one of the versions too is going to have this cool goggles. I won't put it on right now because I'll scrape some of the paint off. But it actually will go all the way down, so he'll have basically night vision.
That's the paint app one.
He'll have the knives, he'll have the weapons, he'll have the night goggles, he'll have the knives. He'll look super badass right here. So, anyway, look for it coming out. Todd McFarlane designs, and look for my other DC characters that we're going to be doing later in the year and the next year too. Peace.
So there we have it. That's what's going on in the land of Todd McFarlane as far as the DC license. That Batman figure that he designed, I'm not going to lie, I think it's very cool looking. Definitely very interesting looking, and I'm going to buy it just because it'll look cool on my shelf, which is why that's why he designs these figures. He wants them to look super cool. Looks are the #1 thing for him, and articulation always seems to be more of an afterthought with Todd. Although, to be fair, these multiverse figures are definitely more articulated than a lot of stuff he's done in the past. The look of the Batman he's designing with all the spikes up on his gauntlets, I think that's very practical, because if Batman was a real character, it's very unfortunate, but he couldn't do what Batman does in the comic books. That Batman is so skilled, and there's so much technique there, and he's learned every single martial art known to man, and he's mastered them all, and he's mastered his blood flow, and he can go out into space and hold his breath for, I think it's like 20 seconds before he has to come in. This Batman in the comic books is, although he's not superhuman, let's face it, the guy basically is superhuman, just low-key superhuman. But in the really real world, if you were fighting some of the very worst that society and the human race has to offer, people who wouldn't even think twice before dashing you open and pulling your innards out or blowing your brains out, gouging your eyeballs out, you would have to be brutal. You would need to use the most brutal tactics you had to you. Even if you didn't want to kill, even if you were like, I'm not going to kill, that's my line, you would have to do a lot of really nasty, dark, dirty, bloody stuff up to that point. A lot of bones breaking, Steven Seagal style, a lot of slashes and cuts, and a lot of trips to the ER with a lot more than just a concussion for many people. Anyway, that's my story. I'm Stick a Dude. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Have a super awesome DC day, everybody, and take care.